Welcome back to the class, everyone. We have another GAC here. We didn't do too hot last time. As you can see, we did lose, but it was against a really good opponent, and the fun just keeps coming. We have another solid opponent, solid to mediocre, which that name is not going to combine or go very well with his roster nor his playstyle. He has already started attacking, but before we jump right into that, let's take a look at his overall statistics. He's got a lot going for him. He does have 693 more relic levels than we do. He has better mods for the most part, except for this has happened quite a few times now where we have better plus 25s, but we're beating every other category. And then he's got Omicrons. And then, as always, they also have Jabba and Afra. So, hopefully, we'll be getting Jabba soon. We'll be able to knock that down a little bit. He has made one attack right now. I'm not sure if that's just his, like, make sure he gets a point attack. But his defense is really brutal. The more I'm looking at this, the more I'm just thinking we're not going to be able to full clear. The Ray on the bottom team, I'm fairly certain will require GL. We're going to need to explore Grand Inquisitor just a little bit there. But then the top wall, all four of these look like Galactic Legends. IPD cuts out both my troopers as well as my bounty hunters. And then the Traya team, we learned the very hard way the last time that you need a really good counter for that. So let's go ahead and see how well we do. Coming into our battles now, we're going to be taking on the General Skywalker team to start, just because it's a counter that I know will work, and I really don't know if a lot's going to work here. So they do have 100% armor and 20% protection, which is very good for Gas. He wants both of those stats via DCs. Luckily, our CLS team, we do have it just modded quite right. Again, I think we recently did a video on this that just kind of even makes those DC stats just go away. Even with it being R9 5s as well as R9 gas, they get quite the boost, but it just doesn't end up being enough. Our CLS is able to kill Rex right before gas stands up, which is very nice. That'll make it a lot easier to tear them down again because they won't be able to get all the turn meter and whatnot. We make gas sit again, just ton of max health damage here. Kill Echo before he can even get out his grenade toss and stun everyone, and gas just gets shredded. Then it's really not close. So very good job, CLS. Nice 72 there. So now we immediately have to just start dipping into what I guess I would call the sketchy battles. And that is going to start off with Gas versus the Malgus team. There is no Malik in here, and that makes it a little bit easier. But we do have to be careful with Talon there, and the Talon is doing a huge amount of damage. I believe she is R8, and that was actually very unfortunate. Being able to kill Rex, or rather, trigger the sacrifice on 5s and kill Rex in the first opening pretty much did this entire team in. Without having Rex there to kind of help us catch up, and losing all the speed from his unique is going to really, really hurt us. So Set being there to hit underneath the protection and essentially really nullify that between that and the shock nullify our 5 sacrifice, it just completely neutered this team. Like we haven't built up nearly enough offense now via their buffs, and it's just gonna be bad. So I contemplated just exiting out or forfeiting right now so we didn't preload it, but at the same time, like what team is gonna do better now that it's not preloaded? So what happened here as far as our playstyle goes, or as far as our strategy goes rather, is we decided we're not going to go for the full clear. We really needed every single thing to work to have any shot at the full clear. And the fact that this wasn't going to work, I wanted a few kills. Like if Malgus could have survived, that would have been fine. But if we could have killed like Darth Revan and Talon or something like that, that would have made this significantly easier for a cleanup with like Bam or Django or something. We did that a few matches ago, but obviously that is not the case. We just didn't have things go our way. So we get slaughtered here, and what essentially we go to in our planning is we're now going to be aiming for just top wall. So I'm like, all right, let's go to top wall. Take out the things that we know how to take out really easily first, and then we'll move from there. So this comp actually does scare me a lot, because with both Scando and Embo there, so you take out the Gamguard, this counter starts to become very hard, especially when they have the hired muscle Datacron. So SLKR is going in, and the Hux Datacron really does help. Constantly attacking out of turn and hitting the enemy and building up our ult charge is very nice. We're already at 100%. We go ahead and take the hit here on Boosh just to get her out of the way, reduce that damage. That was actually really nice. This is in my opinion, this is a great start. I really want to try to get Chrysanthemum out of here. However, the issue is if anything else kills him that isn't SLKR, then he gets to come back, which is a bummer because our Lobster just happened to have that middle ground damage. And then just, I guess, I don't know, RNG is the right word, but some really bad timings for us here. Everyone's dead when Jabba gets his ultimate, which means SLKR has to take the armor shred. So now SLKR has to take the armor shred, and Embo and Skanda were both still alive and both still dealing a lot of damage. So we proc ult just because I didn't want to die in the very next turn. We actually probably could have gotten away with one more turn, just seeing how the turn meter was. And maybe gotten to 2 turns of ult or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we were just... Yeah, we're done here. So that lost. And at this point, the whole stream, and rather even this YouTube video, it's just one flat-out sandbox mode. We are just completely testing now. So the rest of these battles, we already know we lost. Spoiler alert for the very end. Our opponent is attacking at this time. We see that he's already gotten through one wall, and we know that we can't get through any of them. So everything from here is a test, and so we do Qui-Gon Jinn versus Traya because the Kron didn't have any defense, and I'm like, okay, maybe Qui-Gon Jinn can actually get some kills here. But this is also rather unfortunate. We have offense down when we get to our super big hit after Qui-Gon Jinn dying. So we get the mega ultra offense from Qui-Gon Jinn dying for 2 turns. So I'm sitting here thinking, all right, we can be really dumb and we can hold the AoE while we have offense down and just wait for someone else to get hit, and then we'll use it and we'll probably do something fun. The only issue is they kill Jedi Anakin before he even gets the second turn. So I don't think if this was a more competitive match, I don't think that would be the way I would have done it. I think I would have just trying to see if we could get a kill, even on like HK or something, even with that offense down. But being as it was, that just wasn't going to work. So dished out on that battle. Now we have to do, we're going to go ahead and try our bounty hunters versus this IPD team. I know my bounty hunters do not have it in them to one-shot this. I know we can't, because to one-shot it, you really have to kill everyone else except IPD, and then kill IPD, and that requires me to not use AoEs and get like armor shreds on Lord Vader. So I know we can't do it, but I'm like, all right, let's have some fun here. Luckily, Lord Vader heals IPD right before he gets to explode on someone, so we don't have to deal with the super damage yet. But I'm thinking, all right, maybe we can get a few key kills here, like on Royal Guard, Maul, and Thrawn, and then leave IPD and Vader, and then kill something else with IPD. So that's why we put armor shred on their whatchamacallit, their Maul, because I'm really just waiting for the annihilate so that nothing just completely revives on us. So unfortunately, Lord Vader gets his ult and just gets ability block on everyone. We kill Maul now, although we kill him without a anti-revive, so he will come back if we have to deal with IPD, and I'm pretty sure we will. So at this point, we have Royal Guard annihilated, which is really cool, which means he's done. And at this point, I'm thinking, all right, this is really bad, actually. I should be focusing on killing IPD, because if we don't kill IPD, then the Kron comes back. So Maul's out of the way now, but we're going to have to come back and clean that up later with something else. That being said, we do have to now beat the raid team, and I'm like, all right, again, this is very sandbox mode-y. Let's take in Grand Inquisitor. I know I've heard that he can beat some raid comps with the damage immunity Kron, which we do have. This comp in particular, I think is more anti-star killer, but it's still, I think, going to be rather complicated. So they have Barris in there, they have JTR. I think the strategy on this is still pretty much the same as always. You don't want to deal with the whole raid bend puzzle while there's you're letting a bunch of other characters ramp up and do a bunch of nasty things. So we are just going for the sides. Go after Barris first, just because she's going to be the one healing everyone. I wanted her dead before they got to the first ult, but that just, unfortunately, just wasn't a reality. We do have the level 3 revive Kron here, so if Night Sister does bite it via the ultimate, she will come back, although if she bites it because of Whirlwind, she doesn't. So kind of have to play this pretty close here, and again, still going after Barris, not wanting to have to deal with her. Her being a Jedi does actually help a little bit, because we'd end up doing a lot more damage to her. So get all the way through her. That was very nice. Now we have to get through JTR. JTR is rather unfortunate in this team too, because she just gets so many turns and then removes damage immunity, and then Rey gets to Whirlwind a character that had a revive on it, and you don't get to revive, which is what's about to happen here. So there goes 9th. So that kind of sucked. But one of the nice things about Malak on this team is he's not, well, nice thing for us is he's not light side, so we don't have to worry about any type of damage move with him. We can just gun him down and get rid of him. Also ability block him and everything. So we're able to kill Malak actually quite easily, get a bunch of buffs for our team, but their Inquisitors, at least at this point, just don't have enough to do the Rey bend dance where we can just tank ults and stuff. We really needed 9th to actually still be alive here and to help be a 5th to tank. I mean, this is also an R9 Rey, and I guess we have R7 Inquisitors, which is pretty good, but still, she gets through ult and then just blows the whole team up. So that was fun. Go ahead and take in Grievous here. The thought is maybe with GBA we can, take enough whirlwinds, and then Django over there can get a good shot in on Ben, so to get rid of the revive, and then we can clean up with, I don't know, Mon Mothma or something like that. I don't think we actually had Mon Mothma, but either way, we keep using Grievous here, and the amount of offense that R9 Rey has not like even outside of her ultimate, is just disgusting. So we keep reducing Ben's max health, both with Grievous as well as with Jango. And the one thing that is unfortunate is while we can get Ben really low, we also have to get Rey up below 50% health before we can even kill Ben, because it's not necessarily an anti-revive problem, it's a can't be defeated at all problem. So yeah, we're kind of stuck here. And we don't get any kills, so we just forward this. And again, very, very sandbox mode. Another thing that we were doing in the regards to sandbox mode was using just solo C versus Traya. This is a very good Traya team. They have the full trio as well as Savage and then the HK Kron. And I'm curious if they actually have, and I realize the Traya Kron is turned off versus Darkside Galactic Legends, we'll see is, but I'm curious is even without that Omicron, if they have just enough raw damage to actually kill C. And it gets pretty close. Like, if this team had talent in it, I think we would have died. I think you legitimately will probably need, if they have talent in it, you will need Watt at a minimum to make C work, which is really gross. It reminds me a little bit of the, like the Qui-Gon, the Super Qui-Gon Jinn Cam team. I've seen a lot of people try to take C of that, because Qui-Gon Jinn's Omicron also turns off against Galactic Legends. But I've seen people lose C just because there's, even without that Omicron, there's so much raw damage there with Armor Shred and Healing Immune and a lot of things. Again, we're just kind of throwing things out. I know that Wampa probably doesn't stand much of a chance here. Actually, he holds his own, spoiler alert, he holds his own very well versus the Exposes, which I was a little surprised by because just how much max health I have him modded for, because that's how the protection hub is built. I guess a large part of that probably has to do with the protection hub that we're gaining via the Datacron that we have. So overall, things are actually looking pretty good until they get their ultimate, and now it's just game over. There's the healing immunity and the protection disruption, or whatever it is called, is just way too much for Wampa to handle, and it lasts for too many turns, so we can't even get it off before we die. So we do end up losing that one. But now this one, I thought we were going to have a really hard time with. This is an R9 cat, and she's also modded for health. Like, she has a full 3 health sets, so she is super thick. So I'm like, all right, if we're going to have any chance, I did not think this would even get close to working. I thought that they would just destroy us. But even get this close to working, we actually have to go for OG Ahsoka first, because she has much less health. And the team, obviously Cat is probably the bigger linchpin, but the team really starts to struggle without Ahsoka there to be constantly attacking out of turn, to faster build their ult and everything like that. So we get our ult, get it completely going before they get anything going. And luckily, this probably had something to do with their turn order too, though. They, their cat annihilated right before they can ignore taunt, which is great because that means they wasted it. So we keep going in a Grandmaster Yoda here so that he keeps getting Foresight and acts like a tank, which is really weird. Also, one of the other things that was fun is the team had the Datacron for Scoundrels, that whenever they reach like or below 90 or 100% health, they get a bonus turn. So Cat, again, is just super thick, especially with Padme there doing all the things she does. We do keep just dazing Jedi Master Kenobi. I don't really want to deal with him as much as we can put him out of business. I want to. I also realized we stopped taunting at this point, so we need to actually be calling Jedi Master Luke to go, because otherwise he won't taunt. And then once Cat and OG Ahsoka are gone, I mean, the match is over. They can't do anything. They don't. Grandmaster or Jedi Master Kenobi probably just frankly doesn't have enough damage to even get through Jolie, which is game over for him. So we're going to be able to take down these two now. That's going to be, again, just pretty darn easy. And I think once we even just get past Kenobi, we just click full auto, because there's nothing they can do. Losing the massive amount of stats that they had from Cat definitely takes a toll on the team. And then again, there's no even point trying to keep the taunt on Jedi Master Luke here, because he can just ignore it himself. So very good. 63 banners, I'll take it. Again, still very much in the funsies mode. I'm like, all right, let's throw Rogue One here, see what happens. And honestly, it's very weird. IP'd explodes himself, which is kind of whatever. I'll take it. But then once Lord Vader and Thrawn get like their 100% offensive boosts, they don't just slaughter the team. Like, I would have thought that, I guess Lord Vader does have to build up somewhat to actually get going. But I was pretty sure that he would just run completely over us, and he doesn't. Like, the team tanks quite a bit, and obviously having Jyn be immortal via her kit, or rather Adrad's kit, definitely did help a lot. One thing that is kind of a bummer is they take extremely reduced damage to exposes. above, I think it's like, I don't remember the exact number, 25 or 40% health or something. So we actually have to drop Thrawn down to a pretty low health before the expose is actually taking effect and kill him. So that was kind of cool. So both IPD and Thrawn are dead, and we're just left with the Solo Lord Vader. With Solo Lord Vader, there's actually quite a few things that can handle him and take him out. So not exactly my favorite thing, but kind of cool to see that it can work. I guess kind of a little bit lower budget, although probably not at all. Lord Vader does just kill everyone now, which is fine. We do need to finish it out so that we keep the kills on both IPD and Thrawn, because especially IPD is rather important there. So eventually kills Adrad, and then she just dies to the dots. And now all we have to do is take in troopers with our Datacron that gives us a bunch of turn meter, and we can run right over him. He does have 100% extra defense, which makes him pretty hard to chew through, as you can see here. But we have the armor shred starting with Gideon is definitely very helpful here. And then just taking hit after hit after hit. And one of the nice things is he doesn't really, Lord Vader isn't going to hit that hard in the very beginning. He has to really build up before he can do anything. So we get very close here. But as you can see, Lord Vader does end up taking turns, and what would have been very unfortunate, super unfortunate rather, if he had the protection up Kron for dots, this probably would have just failed at that point, unless we had Stark to remove it. So luckily, we still had enough damage and just killed him, so that was very cool. And now, again, in the spirit of funsies here, we're just going to go ahead and take in our Bad Batch versus their Jabba, see what kills we can get, see if we can get anything down. I think when Jabba first came out, there were reports of actually Bad Batch winning. But I mean, this is before I think everyone had R9s or knew what the right comp was, and Jabba also didn't have a Datacron. And if my Omega, or rather Omega, was R5 here, this probably actually would have worked. Well, maybe not worked, but we would have killed Skando, which is kind of what I was going for. We get so close so many times, and just don't quite have the damage to get him down. It's actually very annoying. But if she was higher and all of her assists were dealing like better true damage, then maybe we would have a shot here, but we didn't. So yeah, they end up just doing too much damage to us, and we can't get around it. Even with that healing immunity, just really kind of a bummer. This is kind of gonna be my pick me up of getting Skando down there, and he just keeps not dying. So eventually they kill Hunter, and then without him, he's kind of the main damage dealer here, at least as far as exposes go. And the Rancor eats someone, and it's just kind of game over. So definitely worth a shot, but overall just one more fail to the book in this round, which again, it's kind of nice to know where a lot of these things stand, especially against these monster cops where these opponents just have, 600 or 700 more relic levels than us. Well, I think this is going to be our last one, or at least I think it is. We just go ahead and take in Night Sisters versus Adrad again, purely for the fun of it. I'm thinking, they can kind of survive quite a bit, even with the protection disruption and whatnot. They probably, if we can gain enough turn meter, if we don't get dazed, then we can probably just weather a lot of what they have for us. And I'm very curious, like, how much would Asajj's Omicron move the needle in this battle? That's the one that I want to apply so much, and I just don't, it's probably just not wise. Anyways, so we're going pretty good here. We've landed Plague on Adrad, which is a pretty important character to land Plague on. And now we're actually able to stun lock him and keep getting him hit with Plague. The issue is here, even if we do kill Adrad, which we do, we have to worry about Jyn. If we don't take down, really rather just control Jyn like we're trying to with Tenacity down and stuns, she can actually revive their Adrad, and then we're just kind of stuck with everything all over again. So still trying to go after her, trying to control her as much as we can. But yeah, so for some reason we end up hitting back on K2. I think I got distracted by something, which was interesting. And then, all right, we have to hit SRP because he's taunted. And then Jyn, instead of bringing back K2, brings back, very unfortunately, Adrad. And this is bad because he's about to get his huge revive where he'll bring back all 5, which is exactly what he does. And the AI is smart enough to not just keep hitting zombie over and over again, and they just kind of take us out. So we kind of have to, hoping that Doc can get enough turn meter, but then they do eventually start focusing on her and just get her down, and that is going to be the end of it for us. So we lost, obviously, as previously stated. What is interesting is our opponent actually had a hard time, which is quite a stark statement after seeing how poorly we did trying to get through him. But yeah, he took several shots to get through Traya, which is encouraging. Lord Vader, as well as my Phasma team, which is kind of fun, and I'm going to miss that one a little bit here when it's gone. But other than that, he just kind of slaughtered us. Oh, it looks like he actually did just kill Fleets too. which he didn't need to. There was, I mean, I'm not getting through any of this, but I guess, you know, the credits are nice. So props to Salo the not so mediocre, or mediocre. But until the next time, guys, stay awesome.